Alright, this video is for the lesson 9.7 homework. We're doing volume of compound shapes today. So a little bit of vocab. What is the name of a figure or shape that can be divided into more than one of the basic figures? This is a composite figure. Sometimes they're called compound. There's another name too, but I can't think it. But number 2, what's the name of the location where two faces meet on a three-dimensional figure? That's the edge. So like where this face and then this top face meet, right here, edge of a shape. Alright, all we have to do is find the volume of each shape. I think I have most of the formulas up there. If I'm missing one, let me know and I can adjust. I may rewrite most of that, but do each shape. Okay, anything that's round, we're going to leave in terms of pi until the very end. Okay, so cylinder is pi r squared h, and then a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. A lot of the times with these round figures and sometimes the other figures, they only mark the measurement once. So first question, the radius of the cylinder and the cone, are they going to be the same? Okay, so what's the radius? Alright, so is the height going to be the same on both of them? So what's the height of the cylinder? 20, okay. What's the height of the cone? Height equals 25. That just kind of keeps your pieces straight when we start plugging in here. Alright, so let's do the cylinder. So pi times the radius, we said that's 13 all the way across, and then times the height, that's 20. I'm going to answer in terms of pi, okay? Which means I'm going to do everything but pi. So I'm just going to pretend for a second like it's not there. So I'm just going to do 13 squared times 20. And then what I do, 3380, I'm just going to attach the pi to the end. It keeps things nice and neat to the very end. All right, cone, 1/3 pi, then we need the radius again, so 13 squared, and then this time the height is 25. Again, pretend like that pi is not there for a second. And do just the numbers that you have. So times 13 squared times 25. It's gross, but we can work with that. We're just going to write it down just like that. 4225 over 3, and then attach the pi to the end. Your very last step is to add these two things. Now we can use the pi, because now things can get a little bit messy and we can round it off and be good. I'm going to put the second one in parentheses, especially for this one since it's a fraction. I don't want that pi to get in the wrong place. Okay. And then we're rounding to the hundredth, so 2 numbers after the decimal. So 15042.993.99 yards cubed. Same thing that we've been doing. We're just adding 2 shapes together now. Okay. So number 5, we've got 3 shapes. So cone, we've already done that. 1/3 pi r squared h. Anybody remember the hemisphere? 2/3 pi r cubed. So that. What about rectangular prism? What's that one? How do I find the volume of this one? Length times width times height. All right. Cone and the hemisphere, do they have the same radius? Yep. So radius is 4. Remember to use the radius and not the diameter. So we need height of the cone. So that's 6. Everything else is pretty straightforward. So start filling in here. We'll do the cone first. 1/3 pi, radius is 4, and then we said the height was 6. Ignore the pi. Okay, so this one is 32, and then attach the pi. Don't forget about the pi. Make sure it gets added in there somewhere. All right, hemisphere, 2/3 pi, and then the radius, we said the radius is 4 cubed. Again, ignore the pi symbol for now. 2/3 and then 4, again, cubed, not squared. Ugh. It's gross, but we can work with it. 1/28/3 pi. And then this one's easy. Length times width times height. So 2, I'm just going to do it all on the calculator. 2 times 3 times 12 is 72. I'm just going to do rectangle. Rectangle equals 72. Add them all together now. So 32 pi plus, so this one again, since it's a fraction, I'm going to stick it in parentheses to hopefully keep everything nice and neat. And then plus 72. So we're adding all of them together, not multiplying. And then we round. So 306.57, and then it's yards cubed. Helpful hints. See how this goes all the way across here? Is that a radius or a diameter? So what is the diameter of that thing? 10. So see how it goes across that same distance? So what would the radius be? 5. Okay. This one, you can just treat it like 2 whole spheres. Right? So a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. And then these two pieces, if we combined them, it would make another sphere. They all have the same radius. So for this one, all you got to do is plug the radius in. Is that right? I think that's right. Okay. Now, subtracting. We're finding the volume of the shaded part. So we're going to have to do some subtracting here. So keep track of what you're starting with and what you're subtracting. I always start with the shape that's shaded. So in this one, it's a cylinder. So a cylinder is pi r squared h. So let's do the cylinder. If you need to write little labels like, hey, this is the cylinder. Pi, radius is 6, height is 24. All right, ignore the pi, just for now. And we get 864 pi. Okay, that's what we start with. We've got to subtract 2 spheres. So just like that other one, we can use this formula that I wrote you up here, because we've got 2 spheres. So the sphere is going to be 2 times 4/3 times pi, and then the radius is 6 squared. A little gross. It's okay. So again, I'm going to ignore that pi. 4/3. So 6 squared. There's a multiplication sign in there. Be careful with that stuff too. All right, and we get 96 pi. So since I'm wanting to take those spheres out of this shape, I'm going to subtract on this one. And we can add the pi's back in now because we're working on our final answer. And we're going to round anyways. Oh, something went horribly, horribly wrong. Oh, I see what it is. Look at this one. So let me redo that one. 2 times, let's try this, 4/3, and then 6 squared. Let's see. No, it still gives me that. Anybody see where I goofed? I see it. I squared it. It's supposed to be cubed. That's where I goofed. Oh my goodness, y'all. There we go. That one should be 576 pi. So let's try that again. Let's do 864 pi minus pi minus 576 pi. Oh, that looks so much better. Sometimes it's a little thing. If you write kind of what you're doing, it's easy for me to pick out those things sometimes. Sometimes I don't see them, but it makes it easier instead of just do the whole problem over. So 0.778 is going to round up to 0.78 yards cubed. All right, starting with the box, subtracting a cone. So let's do the box first. Box is easy, right? The box is just going to be length times width times height. Oh, it's like a true box. It's a cube. So you can do 29 times 29 times 29, but a cube, technically the formula is the side length cubed. Gives you the same answer. 2, 4, 3, 8, 9. All right, that's where I'm starting with. We got to subtract this cone.
Pardon the short in.
All right.
And heading to testing rooms.
These phones are getting really old really quick. All right. Cone, 1/3 pi r squared h. I just write the formula for myself when I'm going to fill it in. All right, so 1/3 pi. All right, all the way across is 29. So I can divide it by 2. 14.5. I like making a decimal there because it's just easier to work with when I have to go back and type it in. Height is 29. So again, I'm going to ignore the pi for a second. All right, 14.5 squared times the height of 29. Ugh, that one's really gross. No. Let me try this. In here, I'm going to do 29 divided by 2 in there. Just see what happens. Yeah. That's the downfall of decimals. Okay? The decimals like to round off. So what I did, instead of using the 14.5, the diameter is 29, which means the radius is 29 divided by 2. I just left it in fraction form and I put 29 over 2 in there. It's still gross. 2, 4, 3, 8, 9 over 12. And then there's still a pi attached to the end of it. Okay. Subtract now. 2, 4, 3, 8, 9 minus. Here especially, parentheses. When you're dealing with pi, 3, 8, 9 over 12. You want to make sure that it's subtracting everything it's supposed to subtract. Okay? And it is that big crazy number. 18003 point. This one's going to round up. 98 feet cubed. So number 8, start with the box. Subtract. The cylinder is going to be pi r squared h. This one you're going to start with the cylinder, pi r squared h, and you're going to subtract a cone. So that gives you some little hints to work on.